Yes, the first time being a professional and starting to realize how important that every detail can play a vital role in that production is a big lesson for me from the experience of Henry Fifth. And I just heard Steve was talking about that Ruru was in that Shakespeare Company's project. I didn't know that. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, yeah, Ruru was working with the RSC on a number of projects. It's possibly why the director turned up to see our show.
Ah.
I guarantee that, but it wouldn't be at all surprising. She's a very well-connected member of staff.
No wonder. Okay, so after Henry V, after Shanghai Dramatic Art Center, maybe it's because the experience in drumming under the Southern Bow, and also maybe because of Professor Ruru that I got this opportunity. But what's next? So again, I was really ambitious and fearless back that time. I'm like, I just got graduated. I was part of a really great show. So I need to do something big. So I applied for many theater roles and wanted to be any kind of positions in theater. As long as I can be in theater, then I feel like I have the confidence to knock it. So I applied many roles, but after weeks and weeks, I hear nothing from any of the organizations or companies. So I was a little bit like frustrated, but I'm like, okay, if I cannot got a theater job directly, maybe I'll just try something else and still continue to look for like opportunities to work to be working in theater. So I applied for other kind of like other industries roles, but still nothing. And I believe that 2 months after I finished Henry V's left Shanghai Dramatic Arts Center. So I didn't know what I'm gonna do for the next. And my parents were also like chasing me, Xinyi, if you cannot find a job in Shanghai, the biggest city in China, and all of the costs in Shanghai were as pricey, then come home. We can get you a bank job and come home for a driving license. So I was like, okay, because I really don't have any money with me anymore. So I think maybe it's time for home. Maybe I should get the driving license first. So I was packing.
I'm afraid, Xinyi, it's happened again for me. I don't know if the truth. Same with you, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. And me.
How very annoying. Speak, Xinyi? No, it's gone again. I'm so sorry. I suppose this is how you know we're live. Xinyi will be returning soon. We're now serializing this webinar. It's a
That's a lovely text to receive, isn't it? Would you be happy to go for a interview for a job with Punch Drunk
yeah, not bad.
on
Not
this
bad.
new show?
That's a good day at the office. Oh, not at the office, yeah. Good day at home, isn't it?
Be interesting to know about how they found her. Presumably the Henry V experience is the one that that she was known about.
Are you back with us, Xinyi? She's gone again. She has gone again.
That set for the Henry V just looks incredible.
Does look very cool. It also looks a bit like a set that Cara had a number of years ago as well. I would have to say slightly higher production values, but
The Berlin Wall piece.
yeah. We had a couple of cube. Didn't Anna have a cube as well? I think. I seem to remember.
I had a cube.
Oh, you had the cube. That was a good cube, actually.
It was a very good cube. It was a stage within the sat very nicely in the middle of the space, didn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hi, Xinyi. Audio is connecting.
Yeah. Into the Dark, that was.
That's right. That's right. Oh, she's there. Is your sound working, Xinyi?
Hello, hello.
Ah, we can hear you now and see you.
Yeah.
Great.
We're all going to hold our
Nice.
breaths, not move too quickly, not move our phones anywhere, and hope that this actually works. Sorry, please
No,
continue.
it was me. My VPN was unstable. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna continue. So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Great. So yeah, I got this message from a lady saying that she's wondering, am I free for attending an interview tomorrow morning for the role of company manager assistant in Sleep No More Shanghai. When I was packing my luggage and ready for home. So the minute I got this message, I was like, yes, 100% yes, of course. Bye-bye driving license. Save it for later, for sure. And the interview was very early in the morning, and I managed to do that. And it was the HR from SMG Live. I don't know how it stands for the SMG, but it is kind of the biggest kind of like performing group in Shanghai who runs a lot of like production shows and a lot of imported shows, from America or United Kingdom. So she asked me, do I have any knowledge about being a company manager? And do I have any knowledge of how a big company run? By here, just to avoid any confusion, the company is a troop company, performing company. So I was very honest to her that I actually don't have much knowledge about company manager role. And by the time I looked up online for what this role is, there was barely information about this role. Because back to that time, there was not kind of like a resident kind of international show running in China. So a role like that is quite rare in the Chinese market. Quite kind of similar to that is probably some staff member who will be helping the performing group and the producers to arrange the schedules and arrange the performance times in some kind of local companies. I was very honest to her. And in the second round of interview, it was the co-producer by that time asked me why I wanted to be in Sleep No More Shanghai and what was my goal for my career. So I was like, although I don't have much knowledge about company management assistant, but I feel like I have the enthusiasm, and I am interested in theater shows, and I work very hard. And my goal for my career is I wanted to be a producer one day to produce my own show. And it can be really a dream for me if I can join the Sleep No More Shanghai company. And maybe it's because I am really lucky. After second round of interview, I got in. And now is where my Sleep No More Shanghai journey begins. And this was a poster back in 2016 when it's just opened. So I joined the company on its first year, the end of the year. So I joined as company manager assistant in 2016. And half year later, I got promoted to be the local company manager. And it was a really hard time for me because not only me have rare knowledge about the role of company manager, but the local team and the local companies don't have much knowledge about how to run an international companies. So everything that we have right now, the structure, the contracts, the company policies, or all of the benefits for performing group were just built back to that time. So as a just step into society kind of young girl, it was a huge task for me, but luckily I got really good partner, an international company manager who was really experienced and really care about performance and also care about the company's benefits that can help us. And we spend lots of time to really nailing down and really like polishing the company policies and drafting, polishing and polishing the contracts, but also like drafting the first version of the company policy that the Sleep No More Shanghai now using and running by now. So it was a huge.
And if you can hear me, Xinyi, unfortunately, you've just frozen again. Shame, really, because that was really interesting.
She's gone again.
Yeah, I think we now have a system where she's going to go and she's going to come back. I think if nothing else, we're operating on an international in and out system with this. We'll just wait till she comes back. If you can hear me, Xinyi, you're in the room, but we still can't see or hear you at the moment. Oh, I heard a little bit of your voice there, very briefly. Still nothing, I'm afraid. See, we're so used to rock solid international any time of day communication. When we don't have it, it seems like an indignity, but we are talking to someone halfway around the world. We're going to try again. Thank you for your patience, by the way, everyone who's in the room.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, great. I changed to another one. Hope it's gonna be better.
Okay. Well, you crack on, and I'll be quiet.
Okay. Great. So Sleep No More. Yes, where was I? As local company manager, but building something from nothing is a huge task for me back to that time. And luckily, what I can say now is this is a really hello. Am I still being heard?
We can hear you. I can't see
Great,
you.
great. Great.
Yeah, you're just audio. Even the screen sharing isn't working. But to be honest, if it's stable and we can hear you, you're the most important thing, I believe.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe I'll turn off the camera to make sure that my voice is heard.
Yeah.
Great.
Continue.
Yeah, Stephen Scott. Yeah. If you can hear me, please. Cannot hear me, please give a shout. Yeah.
The screen sharing is now working.
Great.
So crack on, lest it stops very soon.
Hopefully can stay a bit longer this time. So yeah, local company manager from nothing to something now. And I was local company manager for Sleep No More Shanghai for almost like 5 years. And there were lots of like up and downs and lots of difficult times, but also really fun times. To be working with Punch Drunk and also SMG Live, who are really experienced and who are really advanced companies in theater industries, is something that you will easily to get that everything and every department, every role is tailored so well for this production. And everyone is doing their own things for this show that to make sure that every detail is being taken care of. And that's how a gigantic show can be run so smoothly there in New York, in London, and in Shanghai. And Shanghai, now it's in its 8th year now. So as I mentioned, there are lots of like up and downs and difficult times and fun times. And I have to point the most difficult time, which is the pandemic after 2020. So as local company manager, and also as a big company, so like Sleep No More, we were still hugely impacted by it. But what I can say is because of the really economic system or the model of the company, that we were very lucky to be survived from that huge impact. And as local company manager in 2020, I was very proud that I accompanied the entire performing company through that time, because especially for the performers who most of the time are freelancers, this is a really risky moment for them, that they were unsure about the show. They were also unsure about the company, but we kept it together and we hang there, and it was very lucky. And now the show is still running. Yeah, so some production photos. And I finally joined the production team in 2021. After all of these years, I still remember my goal as being a producer. Although I loved to be a company manager and managing the performing company, and I was very close to our performers, but I know that there's more that I want to learn and I want to conquer. And I have this kind of interests and eager to making the show myself, and also being as a production team member in Sleep No More Shanghai. I know that I have the deep knowledge of the show, and I want to pour all myself in to maintain the good quality of the show, especially after pandemic, that we, all of these years, people come and people go. The core creative team might also left. Some core member might also left. So as a senior company member, it is quite a thing for me to maintain the good quality and maintain what the initial kind of goal the show is. So I feel really honored to be offered this opportunity to be in the production department in 2021. And after all these years, I now become the senior production manager since 2024. And just like being local company manager from the beginning, lots of challenges happened during all of these years, but also lots of fun happened during all these years. And I have to insert one thing. Yeah, of course, to be continued. I have to insert one thing, which is before the pandemic, I was also in another show. So it was also kind of like a co-produced by SMG Live. So as company manager for like several years, they asked me, do I have the interest being the company manager of Secret Cinema and SMG Live's co-operated production Casino Royale? And yes, I was there, being the only company manager in that company, and the company size was double as Sleep No More production. Challenges and fun times. But sadly, because of COVID, we didn't last really long time. So after Casino Royale with Secret Cinema, I back to Sleep No More. And yeah, just want to insert that a little bit. Yes, and what else? As a senior production manager in Sleep No More Shanghai now, and for many years a production member, and also more knowledge and deeper understanding of how we run an immersive show, and also the knowledge from Punch Drunk as the IP company as its origin, that we had lots of opportunities in all of these years to do some cross-border collaborations with lots of brands, fashion brands, and liquor brands, Remy Martin, and Valentino. And I also got the opportunity to propose my own idea of being a kind of a long-running show. What can be fun for our audience members to be seen with and to be touched with? So I either produced or being part of the production that to present shows beyond the boundaries. As immersive shows, it's already breaking the fourth wall, but we were challenging ourselves to produce more kind of things and to use more platform to know more audiences. So we collaborated with Tmall, the biggest kind of online shopping company in China, and we did this kind of live stream. And after the lockdown in Shanghai in 2022, we did a pure live stream show in TikTok, and that was really fun. That we solved lots of like tech problems, and eventually presented to me a really completed and artistic show online. So yeah, I'm very proud. So if you still remember, I said there was a seed planted in many years ago of this entire journey. And then when I was looking back all of the photos that's saved in my phone, and I realized everything truly is rooted. And here I have my favorite picture of Dreaming Under the Southern Bow, that we were rolling all of the white clothes of that wooden tree. Why I say that everything is rooted or the seed was planted in many years ago was because how I got this opportunity to be interviewed in Sleep No More Shanghai as company manager assistant was back in 2016. I was in Ben Walmsley's audience engagement class, and he had asked us to find a case to talk about like different kind of scenario and how audience can be engaged in arts or in different art form. So I did some research online, and I choose Sleep No More as my case study. I've never watched the New York Sleep No More or knowing nothing about Punch Drunk by that time. But I choose Sleep No More as my case study and did a lot of like studies online. And when I was doing all of this research, I found this job opportunity that that SMG Live is introducing and cooperating with Punch Drunk in 2016, and the show is about to open. So I sent my application to the HR when I was still in Leeds, but I know that as a rare kind of experience applicant, I might not get this chance. So this email was sunk in my email box for a very long time. And after all these months, it came back and I got this opportunity to be interviewed and eventually to be in the role and to be in the company of Sleep No More Shanghai. So I really love this picture that we're rolling the clothes, and it's like we're finding the origin of the trees and finding the root of it. I guess what I want to say is I really don't have much skill, maybe not like you, that you are more kind of art background or theater background than me. But all I can share is all of this time I have been very determined and very sure about what I am looking for. And I stayed there and I conquered all of the challenges all of these years. Thank you.
Xinyi, thank you. Thank you very much. That was an excellent presentation. And I think you underestimated your skills. Scott, I'm going to hand over to you and ask, do you have any questions to ask Xinyi before we open this out to the other people in the room?
Yeah, I wonder, Xinyi, whether you could stop sharing your screen, whether we could see you live. Thank you very much for the images you shared with us. They've been very helpful.
I can see Xinyi. Can you see us, Scott?
I can't, but maybe it's to do with.
Am I still
I can see
sharing
you
the
now.
screen?
Yes, I can see. Brilliant.
You're here.
So my
Great.
that was lovely. Thank you so much for taking us through your journey. And it was very clear how your experience at Stage at Leeds and the kind of work you were doing outside of your course helped you on your journey when you were back in China. And just that last part, you were talking about the work that you did with Ben Wormsley's module, which is kind of preempts my question really, but I was going to ask you, what do you think there was in your MA experience, the kind of, all the academic content you came across, what was it in that on that course, do you think, that helped you to prepare yourself for working in the culture industries and in particular in that role as company manager? To give you the confidence to do that, or was it? Go on.
Actually, like to me, like I said, I really maybe it doesn't like the anyone in this room that has have like a really kind of arts background or theater background. So when I took the course in every in the module, every lesson, every course to me is fresh. So with Ben Ormsley's audience engagement, before I took this class, I know nothing about how an audience can be engaged in arts, in different kind of form of arts. So it is like kind of like open a window for me to know that in theater there's it's very important for audience to be engaged, to be to play an important part of a show or of a festival. I don't know if I answered your question, but maybe my experience was not that kind of typical, but I feel like what I have learned is yeah, like to be open with the with knowledge or with experience, and sometimes it will be growing in the future.
So there's something about the way in which you were being asked to think on the course that's helped you in a kind of openness and maybe a confidence to be able to step into these roles in China.
Mm, yes.
Brilliant. Thank you. I'm also really interested in what you did during the pandemic, because that was a very difficult time for all of us. And I'm someone who's
Yep.
made that kind of work that is relational, where there's no barriers between audience and performer. So Sleep No More was shut down during the pandemic by the government, wasn't it, for a while? What were you
Yeah.
doing in your role as company manager to try and keep the spirit of that production going? What actually were you doing in your role? Were you still being employed by
Mm.
SMG during that period?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be still employed by SMG Live. Yeah, it was really a difficult time for everyone, especially in the for the people in theater industry, especially for a production as a immersive form that has so close distance with audiences and with all of their performers and their staff members in a big building. So I was still a local company manager, and I have to say that the pandemic for Chinese two times. The first time was 2020 when it's just started, and 2022 for us stayed in Shanghai that we were experienced a very long time of lockdown. So as local company manager, yes, the very important thing for us to do is to make sure that our staff member and especially performers are still mentally good. And although there's lots of unsureness outside of the building, outside of the world, but what we can do, and also as company manager, what we can do is to ensure them every bits and dots that still within the contract, still within the contract structure, still within the company that the company can offer the most to them. So I think that's very important. And like what we are doing right now, that we used a lot of like online meetings. I remember that we were having like every video call twice a day, every 2 days, and every day when we had this kind of meetings, every time when we had this kind of meetings, we were always really uptone and ensuring that the company is still there and we are still there to be with everyone there. And also in 2022, I got the chance a little bit to also being as a production manager. So when I was facing the performers and also the staff members, I have a wider kind of vision of the production. So what I can share was more. So yes, spiritual is definitely the key thing for us as one of the Sleep No More member that kept us together to be survived from that horrible time. But also our leader and also the SMG Live and also Punch Drunk were very strong. So what we have gained from SMG Live and Punch Drunk is support that really care about every presented kind of person in the company. And we were also closely following the government policies back to that time. So every time that we hear, oh, actually it's a little bit lifted of the policy, then we will start to react, start to imply the thing that we can do to our show and to our audiences. And we also gain a lot of support from the audience members. because we were trying really hard, trying different ways of still being kind of active in the market. So we tried a lot kind of live stream shows, cabarets and online talk. And this probably was the first time that we tried some online things, because as theater people, sometimes we hate technology. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we tried the first time as showing some cabarets online, and we gained lots of attention among our audience members, and it was a huge kind of confidence input to us as company. So during those difficult times, we try different forms of ways for try to keep ourselves active, but also inside the company. Yeah, we
You think that
stayed
online
together
work
to make sure.
that you did during the online work, do you think that helped promote the show much more widely in China?
It's a very hard question. Like statistic wise, I would say yes. Definitely like hit to more audiences than we thought, or than physically the audiences can come to the show. But for presenting a show online, it also means the audiences are having a more easier way to access the content. When it's more easier for them, for the audiences to access to the content, artistic content, they may not like a physical audience in our show space that to really care about our show. So what we have learned is, even though they come in to watch the live stream or to come to watch the cabarets, they might leave really quickly and thinking that the content was not that attractive to them, because those kind of short videos on TikTok and also on different platforms are really really kind of pursuing that the first 30 seconds are the most important part for the audience member and to catch audience's eyes. And as a theater production, as a show production, it is really hard to adapt ourselves into this small screen kind of platform, to be still attractive, but also to not lose any kind of key content of ourselves.
Thank you. Can I have one last question from me? And that's just really to help others on the call. Could you just outline the main differences between your role, your initial role as a company manager and what you were doing at the beginning, and your later role as production manager? So that movement from kind of company and scheduling and support for performers into what you're doing now in terms of production. Could you summarize that?
Yeah, sure. This is a interesting question. I will start from the common things between these two roles, which is they are all bridges. As company manager, you are a bridge between the performers and also the company. And as production manager, as one of the production member, you are the bridge among every single department who are helping to run the show, that you are sitting sitting among them to help that every detail, every information are being conveyed safely to whom it should be known to. This is what I think is in common, but what it is different is, as company manager, you should be you should be softer. You are a listener, and you need to of course manage the performing company, but it's more like managing in a soft way. So including all of the scheduling and the arranging the I don't know, those logistic things for performing for performers, or like conveying something, conveying the announcement from the company. The approach that a company manager should carry is really soft, and really being with the company members so that they can hear you. But as production manager, sometimes we need to be more rough, so that when it's come to money, when it's come to budget, you are brave enough to say no. And yeah, the time for me to say no as production manager is definitely much more than when I was still in company as company manager. Yeah. I guess this is the biggest kind of difference between company manager and production manager.
Xinyi, I'm going to open up to the wider audience, but I just want to ask you one question. Throughout your presentation, it seemed to me that you're a person that says yes and you look for the opportunity. And when you mentioned at the very beginning that I told you you were going to be acting in the show, I'd like to caveat that by saying I believe I asked you would you perform. But the point was,
yes,
you said to me, as you said to Punch Drunk, I've no experience in this, but yes, I'll do it. Do you think that positivity, that ability to say yes, along with your clear tenacity, has helped you in your career? I'm thinking people in the room that I do not know, but are probably going to go on, hopefully, and have wonderful careers. I just wonder, do you think that attitude plays a part as well?
Yes, 100% yes.
Were you
Because
scared
I know not
sometimes when you felt you didn't have the appropriate skills or experience?
No, I'm not scared. Oh, but as a performer in Dreaming on the Southern Bar, yes, I do scared a little bit in the beginning. But when I took the position as company manager assistant, I was not scared because I know that I have no knowledge and I have no experience, and I would do anything that the company wanted to ask me to do. And this is something that I think to me is really important. And also being a senior company member now, sometimes I run the interviews and do interview some young students and also some like applicants who are really interested in theater and wanted to become a part of it. But sometimes when we are putting ourselves in a more kind of not afraid, fearless stages, there will be more opportunity for you. And although that there will be a period of time for sure that you are doing really little things. The first half year for me as company management assistant, I was booking food, ordering online shopping goods for our international company members. And I did that for the entire first half of year. But I think it's good. It's good for me to understand my fellow company members. And sometimes especially in theater industry, it also means that as a kind of a junior company member to be joining in some of the production, you won't be paying so much. That is a fact in China. Not sure in England. You are much developed. But it is fine for us as junior members in the company. Of course, you want more, you want to earn more, you want to earn more money, you want to earn more reputation, you want to earn more experience. But if you're determined, if you stay there, eventually it will come.
Thank you. Can I offer out to the rest of the room here, the Zoom room, do you have any questions for Xinyi? If you do, pop your camera on or just go off mute and ask a question. Yes, please go ahead.
Hi.
Oh, that person just disappeared then.
We cannot hear you.
Deji, you've got your hand up. Do you want to, can you speak?
Yeah, hi, I opened the microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your all the sharing things. I have two questions. One is about the being a candidate. What do you think, or what makes a strong candidate for the theater company?
You mean as a applicant for any roles in theaters?
Yeah, like is there some any skills that employers hope you have like that?
Of course, when it's come to some real interviews and real kind of scenario for applying a job, you need to see like what role you're applying for, and the more skill that you gain for or prepared for that role, the better or the stronger that you can be among all of the candidates. But I would say from a senior PCI student kind of level, because I don't want to kind of give you a wrong kind of idea of how you can conquer or win an interview from that. That I feel like, first of all, to trust yourself that you are lucky and can do it, and to show the commitment. This is very important, to show the commitment to the interviewer. And sometimes, even though you are very skilled and you are very experienced and you are very talented, but you show the hesitation of the interviewer. As theater industry, sometimes it can be really, really popular of some of the roles. You might not even I don't know, like be pop out from among other candidates. But showing your commitment, I feel like is a vital thing.
I got that. Yes, and that's the first question. And my second one is about like my concern is that as an assistant or as a new member of the theater company, should we like stand by for 24 hours, 7 days, or stay up very late for the work?
No. Again, I want to share my experience, my first half year as company manager assistant in Sleep No More Shanghai. Although I was helping to order food and order goods on online shopping website, but I have made myself very clear to the performing company and that I'm not working 24/7 7 days, and I have my off time clearly, and which day is my day off, and you yourself have to respect your time to end the day off and end the off time of your work day, and to trust that as professional theater companies, theater productions, that your fellow company members are also professional. They will respect your time, and in the future, maybe you will become friends or be more closer, but still the clear line can be drawn there. And if you talk about like a company kind of perspective, I know that some of the productions can be having a really tight schedule of loading and checking, programming, all of these things. So if you talk about that, then I will admit that for some kind of a touring show, because the tight schedule and because of the cities that you're going to tour to, it is very likely that the first few days of loading, programming, checking, it's going to be a long working days, but a healthier kind of system or healthier model or healthier production, you will never like overworking any staff member in that production.
I got that. That would be very helpful for me. Yeah, thank you very much. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Do we have any further questions? Any hands up?
Hello, I have some question. I want to write for the essay for the Sleep No More, and I say a lot of time to say the Sleep No More in the Shanghai, and my major is audience engagement. So I want to know more about the when you made a plan for the Sleep No More, such as for last year, we know in the Sleep No More has Valentino's shows with the Sleep No More, and how do you feel about that a lot of plan with Sleep No More to contact with the audience engagement?
I will try to answer your question, but let me know if you want to know more. So yes, last year we had a kind of a yearly collaboration with the fashion brand Valentino, and it was not the first year, not the first time for Sleep No More Shanghai to be collaborating with Valentino. Being experienced with them, and we know how fashion brands want in a show, in a theater show, and especially in an immersive show, how we can present what the fashion, or let's say the collaboration brands need, and also to combine the key idea or the core kind of concept of an immersive show. So we still kind of designed a lot of kind of immersive experience and really engaged the experience for those Valentino VIPs, let's say that. They were not really kind of like frequent theater goers, but what we designed for them is a more easier way for them to access the content of the show, and also a shorter version of a show that they do not need to digest a lot, and then maybe after watching it and feeling like, what was I watching, like that. So maybe in those kind of collaborations, what we want to show more is simply the beauty of it, and also behind the beauty of the show is a strong kind of core idea that designed by the director. But sometimes yeah, just like that. Am I answer your
Okay,
questions?
Yeah, it's right. And I have another question is about such as in Shanghai, a lot of audience couldn't to very clearly about the make-believe story, and they just want to say, just know the Sleep No More is very famous in Shanghai, so they want to try. And then some audience feeling that they think this story is very confused. They couldn't to understand, such as us, we know for the make-believe story, and we know a lot of the Sleep No More. But for that audience, they couldn't to know the story, and they are very confused of the Sleep No More. How do you uh just, let me think. How do you feel about this audience, the feelings that from your Sleep No More members views of this audience?
Thank you for your question. It is quite common to see such kind of feedback or review online from our audiences about the show. I can, just to borrow one sentence from the artistic director of Punch Drunk, Felix Barrett, and also Maxine Doyle, who is the associate director and the choreographer of the show, that the reason why they introduced the dance language and body language into the show, into this most immersive form, is they feel like this is a more easy read language that to all of the audiences can be easy to access with. And when we're talking about that, a dancing language or a body movement, body language, it is abstract. And this is how the directors originally try to digest the really heavy Macbeth story too. So what we are showing is not exactly like what the original play, the Macbeth, is. We are taking the main part of it, but also introducing it in a different language. So it is completely fine for our audiences who might have their first experience to watch Sleep No More show. And if even they feel it's quite confused or not knowing what's happening, and sometimes they feel like they probably think a completely opposite way of a thing, but that's still fine because that's how your journey is, and that's how your experience of being the first time audience in Sleep No More world. And having that confusion in your mind, maybe it's also an opportunity for the audience to come back for a second time to know more about this show, or might be the chance that they feel like immersive show are not a thing or not a type of thing for them. That's also fine. But to also answer your question with another side of information is, yes, when the very beginning SMG Live and Punch Drunk wanted to have Sleep No More, have Sleep No More of their first Asian version in Shanghai, they sort of figured that probably would happen. So that's why in Sleep No More Shanghai, we actually mixed some of the traditional Chinese kind of story that are easier for our Chinese audience members to access with. But even with that Chinese traditional story, as a first time Sleep No More viewer, or it probably not that quick to be catch with. So it is really fine for them to feel confused, and then we see that confusion as an opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. The Sleep No More in Shanghai, the white snake story is very beautiful, and connect with the Macbeth story is very perfect. It's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we've probably got time for one more question if anyone's got one. Alison?
Xinyi, thank you very much for this really interesting presentation. You've spoken very generously about your experiences in the UK and in the school, and what you learned. And it's really, really obviously very gratifying for some of us as staff to think that this has been, positive and for you. But I just wonder if you were to come back and say teach in the school, or deliver some of your insights, what do you think that you, as somebody based in China and in Shanghai, what would you be able to tell us as practitioners here, particularly around audience engagement? What might we learn from you, given your experience now?
Wow, that's big. I cannot say it's insight because even it's been so many years, I still feel like there's so much that I have to learn. And my experience work in theater industry, although for many years, but still surrounded with one form that immersive. So my thoughts on theater might not be a kind of a integrated kind of vision or perspective. But what I can share a little bit of being kind of a Chinese who have been participated in two big immersive show as Sleep No More Shanghai and Casino Royale, that I find a difference or something might be interested for you is how Chinese audiences being engaged in immersive show. Because also like what our the staff member from Punch Drunk and also from Secret Cinema have also been like communicating with us, that they find the Chinese audiences are so different than the local audiences back to England, that they are more engaged. Not saying that the British audiences are not engaged, but the way of the Chinese audience being engaged is they may think the hint or the cues or the lines that the performer presents in the show is something for them, is a task for them. to look with in the entire kind of experience of their show watching. And especially in Casino Royale, that we have so many kind of agents as roles, and the agents were sometimes kind of telling the audience that help me to find that guy, like that. But it's actually kind of a cynic, kind of like a pushing thing, but the audience will really help him to looking for that guy. And it is fun, and it is really kind of like the audiences and the performers are creating that thing together. There might be there are many reasons, but as a local team member, when we were discussing such things, we were like, we thought it might also because that as Chinese audiences, we are very familiar with some kind of escape rooms. Although that escape room is completely a different kind of form than immersive show, but as a kind of a new idea of immersive show in China, that the audiences in China needs time to know that the difference between these two forms and these two types. So I guess this is the only bit that I can share with people who are back in England, back in Leeds, that how in another continent that the audience can be so brave and so fired up and so passionate about the show content.
Thank you so much. And it was just to underline the point, really, that the knowledge exchange is really has to be two-way. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
I think it's worth saying, just those who perhaps don't know Secret Cinema's work or Punch Drunk's work, you're describing two examples of post-dramatic work where audiences are almost constantly on the move. And these are really complex. Unlike the Henry V example you showed to start with, these are really complex, always moving, really carefully scheduled, but very, very complex events, aren't they? Across that take place over quite a long period of time, and there's an enormous amount of skill to be able to manage those properly. So it's fantastic you're doing so well in your roles, and it's been really lovely to hear your journey. So thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you.